everybody. Today we're talking about stress, and stress is our body's response to a change. It doesn't matter if it's a good change or a bad change. Like getting married is stressful, graduating college is stressful, starting a new job is stressful. Those things are called eustress, things that we're happy about, but they're a change, so therefore they cause stress. Then what we're more familiar with is distress. These are unpleasant events, and that's what we typically associate with stress, but our bodies respond in a similar fashion regardless. So, and how does our body respond? Our body responds as if we are being chased by a bear. That's the example I like, where our circulatory system revs up, our respiratory system revs up. This is caused by our sympathetic nervous system. Our sympathetic nervous system is what causes us to react in fight or flight. And then the parasympathetic nervous system calms us down. But when we're revved up, simply put, our energy is shifted from our systems, our immune system, our reproductive system, our digestive system, to our respiratory and circulatory system so that we can run fast and fight hard. And because of that, it can cause some damage to our body. If you think about when you're stressed, I bet many of you have had a cold after you got stressed, or are more likely to have a little stomach bug or a flu or some kind of infection. And that's because our immune system is lower. Reproductive system, it tends to affect women a little bit more than men. Some men, especially older men, might start to have trouble in that department, but women, you will see women of all ages skip a period when they're stressed, have 2 periods in 1 month, have fertility issues. All of those things can be caused by stress. Digestive system or excretory system. Digestive system, you're not going to be digesting food quite the same way because your body is, your salivation glands aren't working as well. So you can have some upset stomach, some acid reflux, some other issues. Our excretory system, our peeing and pooping, that can get messed up. We might either not be able to go or we might go too much. So stress can exacerbate those issues. Heart disease can be stress related, probably not at your age. I'm not even at my age. It's usually like when you're in your 70s and 80s. No, I could have some 70, 80-year-old students out there. I'm not sure, but it's just kind of law of averages. I'm guessing most of y'all are younger than me. And stress can make things like asthma worse. It can pretty much make anything worse. It also affects our endocrine system, which is our hormones. It releases cortisol. It changes how we process insulin. So this can make type 2 diabetes worse. Cortisol helps us store fat, because if you're stressed, back when we were cave people, stressors were all life or death. So your body was like, oh my gosh, I need to hold on to energy. So I'm going to store some energy as fat. And that was a great biological response then. Not so great now. And actually the way our body handles stress isn't really great for most stressors. It's good for life or death stressors where we need to run or fight, but it's not really good for a test, or having to give a speech, or a job interview, any of those kind of things. So I think that's important to realize so that we know we need to manage stress. When we look at our stressors, we have those catastrophic stressors. Those are big life events, like a death in the family, getting fired, your house burning down. All of that would be catastrophic. Then we have chronic stressors. That would be like a long-term health problem, marital problems, job dissatisfaction, those kind of things. Those tend to be worse for our body than the catastrophic stressor because they tend to last longer. We also don't get relief from it. We also get less support, and social support helps us manage our stress. A subcategory of those chronic stressors would be daily hassles. And those daily hassles can add up. It's things like traffic, your phone ringing, deadlines at work, all of those kind of things. And I like to tell a funny story. One day, I had a busy day. It was busy every Tuesday of that week, of that semester was busy. I would have to teach class all morning, go get in line, the school rider line to pick up my daughter. And if you don't get in the beginning, you might as well be at the end, and then drive to another campus in Alpharetta during rush hour. Oh, and I would have to take her to dance in the way. And I would let my dogs out sometime in the afternoon. Well, this one day my dog had an accident in his crate, so I had to deal with that. And then I was late getting in line. Luckily, we weren't late for dance, but got her squared away. But I got on to the interstate about 15 minutes later than normal. And if you've ever driven in Atlanta, 15 minutes can be a lifetime. So I'm white knuckle driving the whole way to my night class. And by the time I get there, my stress level is like at a 9. And all of those things were just daily hassles. None of those things were huge. The fact traffic was bad isn't huge. The fact that my dog had an accident wasn't huge, but all of it together was making me feel as if I was about to scream because of stress. So those kind of things add up, and because stress is cumulative, it doesn't matter what's going on, every little stressor adds up. So those daily hassles can be a big deal. And with those daily hassles, we have a lot of job stressors, and a lot of people get job burnout or compassion fatigue. This is a big problem because the group that's most likely to get compassion fatigue or job burnout are people in the service industry. Think teachers, doctors, therapists, police officers, EMT, people who do 911, all of these plus more, customer service, all of these people can get compassion fatigue or job burnout. And the way you know you have job burnout is if you're starting to feel numb about your job, if you are feeling disconnected from your job, if you feel emotionally stressed all the time. And it's dangerous because it can make you act in a way that you wouldn't normally act. At a situation, I wasn't completely burnout yet, but I was heading there. It was back when I was a therapist, and I was working with domestic violence victims, and it was the week of 9/11, so it was the 9/11. And also that week, I had a client who, after talking with me for a couple of hours, ended up shooting at her ex because she felt like she had no other options. Luckily she missed, so that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But anyway, so my stress level was really, really high. And I was in a session, and this client, she wasn't in danger, but she needed help. And I was like, okay, yeah, we'll help you. We'll hook you up with some services. And I got her in touch with several services, but there was gonna be a delay for one. And she said, I just can't get anybody to help me. And I kind of lost it a little bit. I was like, what? We've done A, B, and C. We're just gonna have to wait on D. It's gonna get done. It's just gonna take a minute. And she was like, oh, you're right. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm losing it. I am not able to handle the situation like I should as a therapist. So I had to take a step back, take a vacation. I actually had to leave that job because it was affecting my physical health. I was starting to have nightmares. I was starting to have literally I was breaking out in hives because of my job. And so maybe if I had done a better job of managing that stress earlier, I could have stayed longer. But even therapists make mistakes. So anyway, so that is part 1 for this discussion. And my question is, do you think the way we handle stress, our bodies handle stress, is good for us? Is it helpful or harmful, and why? So just to repeat, is the way our body handles stress helpful or harmful? Thank you.